the floor to make some remarks or to ask questions, beginning with Mr. Tembruke from the VVD Liberal Party. Mr. Tembruke.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Your Holiness, for being here. It's rare that we have a religious leader amidst ourselves, and it's mostly in this room. You talked a lot about the readings of the Quran, and since you are a proponent of Islam and peace, and we see so much war, prosecution, violence, almost rampant throughout the Islamic world, I'd like to put a couple of notions to you that I would very much like you to answer to. The first is that I'd like to have your opinion on whether, according to you, it is possible that the Prophet and Islam is being criticized. And if that happens, you gave a lengthy explanation about what is in the Quran, but as you understand, in a liberal democracy, the Quran has no jurisdiction. It is our penal law. It is the rule of law that has to deal with that. Do you accept the notion that any attack on Islam and the Prophet should be dealt with by the rule of law and not by the Quran or the Bible for that matter? And the last notion I would like to put to you is that do you accept that the freedom of speech actually encompasses the freedom of religion? Thank you so much.
You see,
Your Holiness.
as I explained in my address, that people have forgotten the true teaching of Islam. This is why they have deviated from the true teachings, and what they are practicing is not the true teaching of Islam. This was clear from my address, I think. And your second question was, in the recent past, there had been some, the bad words spoken, or the status of the Prophet of Islam was undermined, and there was a reaction from the Muslim community. But our reaction was that to retaliate in the same manner, or to kill somebody, or to take the law of the land in hand is just unjustified. We never retaliated in this way. We did not react in this way. Rather, our reaction was, as a Muslim community, I spoke in my sermons, and that is widely listened to almost all over the world through our television channel. And I said that this is not the reaction. The true reaction is that we should try to adopt the peaceful teachings of Islam, and every Ahmadi, every Muslim should express his Islamic teachings, and it should be, it should be portrayed from your being, that this is the true Islamic teaching. And then we should pray to God as a religious community, and pray to God that may Allah give sense to the people of the world who are just humiliating the people of God, the servants of God, no matter whether it's the Holy Prophet of Islam or Jesus or anyone else. So all the religious leaders should be respected in an appropriate way. You see, if you are just smoking, as I said in my address, and trying to ridicule the prophets or any of the leaders, then there's a natural reaction from some people that they will retaliate in the same manner. Sometimes they cannot control their passions. So, you see, it's a two-way flow, give and take. Everybody should respect every person. These are the human values. So we should consider human values also. And as far as the law of the land is concerned, I have already explained that whether if the law allows you to speak whatever you like, okay, well, that law is made by the people. And this is why there have been so many amendments time to time in almost every part of the world. Whenever you enact any law, then after some time you make amendments in it. So it means you yourself are not satisfied with the law you have enacted. After, when the conditions change, you think that now we should change the law. Or this law does not give the satisfied solution to the problem of today. So you cannot say that the law is perfect, and if the law of the land is humiliating the leadership or any person whom you love is right. Okay, you have the right to say whatever you like, but in my opinion, you should not have the right to speak ill of somebody whom I love in front of me. Anyway, here in the Western world, if you have the right to openly speak against any person, no matter whether he's a prophet or leader or whatever he is, but the human values, actually, I feel, should stop you from doing this thing. Even if law says that there's a freedom of speech, okay? There's a freedom of speech, but you should put some restriction on this freedom. Otherwise, there will be disturbance and frustration in the world. And that is what you have been seeing. See, if you have experienced anything good with this reaction, then okay, I will admit that it should continue like this. If we see that there's a mass reaction from the Muslim world on this issue, when you try to humiliate the Prophet, then I think we should consider that why should we take such actions, or why should we emphasize on those things which are hurting the sentiments of others. So in my view, human values are the most important things.
Thank you very much. Mr. Servaas, Labour Party.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, Your Holiness, for visiting us. And it's always good to see so many people here in Parliament. We gladly invite you to join the debate we will have on Thursday on other foreign policy issues as well, because we rarely have such a large audience for our debates. But anyway, I'm a little bit in doubt what to focus on, but I think I will follow up on the issue that was raised by my colleague. As we are, as a Parliament, an investigatory body, you know, we like to get into the depth of this issue and make it more concrete. I do agree with you that there are certain issues that one can say about another person's religion that can hurt that other person. And out of respect and out of a decent society, I would always advise people to have and to show respect to the other person's religion, or maybe even the absence of faith. But I also believe in, maybe not that the law is perfect, but I do believe in the principles set out by the French philosopher Voltaire. You probably know his famous quote that even if you do not agree with what someone says, or as Voltaire said, I will defend to death your right to say it. And even though out of good taste or out of respect I can have an opinion about certain expressions, I believe that everyone has the right to say it. And I noticed by looking at some of the remarks that you made in the past that you were critical of remarks made by a colleague of ours, Mr. Wilders, what he said about Islam, but also of the cartoons that were published in a Danish newspaper some years ago, and more recently in the French Charlie Hebdo magazine. Now my question is, even if you think with me that not all of those expressions are a sign of good taste, do you underwrite that all these people have the right to say what they want to say, or for the cartoonists, if they have the right to express their views in the way that they do it by making the drawings? Do you agree with Voltaire?
As far as the right of the freedom of expressing himself, any person, this, of course, you have in your law, in the law of the country, law of the land, and this, in present day, almost in every democratic country, it is permitted that whatever you want to say, you can say. This is the freedom of speech. But what I mean is that despite the fact that you have a freedom of speech, but there should be some limitations on this freedom. When you see that it's going to disturb and hurt somebody, then there you should put some limit on that at that point. Otherwise, whatever they are doing, we did not retaliate in that way. We say, you see, in my view, to develop peace, to create peace in the world, you will have to honor the human values. And human values are that give weightage to the sentiments of others. Not only that whatever you want to say something or whatever is in your mind, you are free to say, all right, despite the fact you are free to say, but if you consider the sentiments of others, then you would think twice before saying anything which can cause problem and destroy the peace of the society.